I'm super excited about this. We're making monkey bread. This is just such a fun thing to do, you know, like on a Sunday where there's not a lot going on, you're craving something sweet, or the kids are begging you for something sweet. Keep cans of, I always try and keep cans of refrigerated biscuits on hand, because if you have these on hand, you have everything else on hand, and you are in the business to make monkey bread. I'm a huge believer of getting those kiddos into the kitchen. These days, a lot of the home ec programs at school, they've gotten rid of. They don't have those. A lot of the schools don't have them anymore. So, the kids really don't have an opportunity to learn how to cook. So moms, dads, I got an email from a dad the other day that says he is the cooking dad. He does a lot of the cooking, and I know a lot of guys watch this show. So my hat's off to you. I love a guy who can cook. In fact, I keep telling my son Riley, college-age son, the girls dig a guy who can cook. So it'd be really cool if you cooked, learn to cook. So I'm working on them. So anyway, and I know a lot of grandparents are watching the kiddos these days. These days it takes a village. So, get those grandkids and kids into the kitchen. I always start them with fun things like this: treats, cupcakes, cookies, and this monkey bread. Next thing you know, you're scrambling eggs, and hopefully they'll pull up a stool and they'll want to help with that. And then hopefully the hope is that they'll be making dinner for you one day. And it does happen. It really does happen. Ireland makes dinner for us all the time. Or if I'm out of town on the road, she'll make dinner for Bob. He'll come home from work and she'll have the whole dinner done. She'll call me along the way a little bit. Mom, now tell me about this if I'm doing this right. So I kind of sometimes walk her through it. But she's so proud too when he comes home from work and dinner is done. So anyway, get those kids in the kitchen. Teaches them to cook, not only cook, but they're learning as they are in the kitchen to measure and cut. So monkey bread. This is the easiest recipe, and I think a lot of people have a similar recipe. This is my favorite monkey bread recipe, or some people never even heard of it. So if you haven't heard of it, I am going to enlighten you on something really wonderful. So it starts out with a combination of butter and sugar. So we're using, is that about 1.5 sticks of butter and 1 cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to melt that together very carefully on the stove. I want to bring that to a simmer for about a minute. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Anne's giving me the evil eye because I got a little brown sugar on your stove, but I'll take care of that, Anne, no problem. Okay, and now in come our biscuits. Well, actually, we're going to start with our sugar cinnamon mixture. So get yourself, you probably already have these on hand, and if you don't have a Ziploc bag, you could certainly just do this in a bowl. But I've got about 1/2 cup of sugar and 2 or more teaspoons of cinnamon. Anne thinks it needs a little more cinnamon, so it's up to you. If you want to go heavy on the cinnamon, by all means. So that's where it's fun to get kids measuring, and we have one of those big, canisters of sugar. You probably do too, and get them to measure it, and then they can have some fun and shake it around, mix all that sugar and cinnamon together. So yeah, the kitchen gets a little bit messier when the kids are in there cooking, or I'm in there cooking. But I always say that's what dogs and vacuums are for. Okay, so now we're going to get to work on, we need 4 cans of refrigerated biscuits, and I buy them in a 4-pack. They come in actually a 4-pack, and it's cheaper that way. So, and I top, casseroles with these. There's lots of different things. I make bread bowls for soup or salads with these. We haven't done that in a while. There's all sorts of fun things that you can do with these. In fact, I've never made a big bread bowl for a salad. We will do that sometime this spring. We will do that. Yesterday, if you watched the show, I was struggling with opening the can. We were opening crescent rolls, and in our house, it's always fun to see. We're like, I want to open the can. So Anne was a bright idea. At home, I usually just whack it on the counter. Sometimes it opens, most times, sometimes it doesn't. Well, Anne said, maybe you should follow the directions. I'm like, oh, what's that all about? And it says right on the tube to press here with a spoon. There's like a seam, but you can just use your finger. And it's not as much fun, though, as whacking it on the counter. But yes, that works perfectly. Okay. So you're going to have 4 cans of these, and I'm just keeping an eye on our brown sugar and butter mixture. We really want to let that simmer a little bit. It becomes like a caramel sauce. And then you're going to need a bundt pan for this. So If you don't have yourself a bundt pan, pick one up at Goodwill, or they're real inexpensive. Bundts are back. Oh yes, Ann says make sure and spray the whole thing really well. And we love baking spray. This is something that's relatively new on the market. And what it not only coats the pan with nonstick, but it also coats it with flour, so it kind of does double duty. You could also just grease the pan with butter and flour it a little bit. We just do not want this to stick. This needs to come right out. And I'm just going to peek at the one we've got. Oh, and it's beautiful. Okay, wait till you see it. Okay, so back to our biscuits. Now, Ann used a knife, and I said, you know, when I do this at home, I use scissors, and again, that's a fun way to get the kids a little more excited about it. So clean kitchen shears, or just take the kids' scissors and give them a good wash, and then you want to cut these biscuits into fourths. And no need to like measure, they don't have to be perfect, but I know when my kids were growing up, it really helps with their motor skills if they're doing something fun with scissors. So this is pretty fun, cutting dough. And I know it's kind of probably not too exciting watching me do this, so I do have some exciting things to tell you about. Book club is back. I'm super excited. We're reading a fantastic book. Taking a little break, but it is back. We've got a brand new sponsor, and we are headed to the Bottle Room in Swamico for our very, well, it's been a while, our next book club meeting. We're going May 14th. Call to reserve your spot. It is going to be great fun. They're going to be providing all sorts of wonderful munchies, and then we can just buy beverages. And the book we're reading is called Girl in Translation, a very fantastic, wonderful. It's a book. It's got a little bit of history in it, so it's a fantastic story. I love books that actually stay with you. You know what I mean? After you've read them, they don't just disappear forever. And this is such a wonderful story, but I also learned a lot along the way. It's about a girl and her mother who come to the United States. They don't speak a word of English, and how they get along. And it's just really a wonderful book. So please go out and get the book, or get it on your Nook or your Kindle. Read the book. And anyway, oh yeah, and if you go to our Facebook page, we got a nice shout out from the author who was thrilled that we picked her book and honored. So anyway, very, very cool. All right. So now we've got our biscuits cut up, or at least one can of them, and you add a few of the different pieces of dough to the cinnamon sugar mixture. And this is where the kids, this is like not rocket science. It will turn out. You're not going to screw this up. I'm just going to, has it been about a minute on this sugar, brown sugar? And
I would do
another little bit? Okay. All right, so basically after these pieces of dough are sugar and cinnamon coated, you just drop them in the bottom of your bundt pan. You just keep making layers. Oh, this smells really good. This, not only the cinnamon sugar, but this brown sugar. So you get the idea. We just keep going and going. One other thing we wanted to mention is Big Night Out is also back. So if you need a big night out, we've got one coming up. We're headed to a really wonderful restaurant. This is done and looking good. In Appleton, a new restaurant that's getting fantastic reviews. It's called Gather Americana. Several course meal, all paired with wines. This is a very unique farm-to-table restaurant where they're getting, you know, produce and a lot of the things they serve right from local purveyors. It's going to be one amazing night, so please make your reservations. This is going to fill up very quickly. Here's some of the information on it. You can go to our website and get more. Just fox11online.com. Click on the Living tab, and you'll see that big red and black and white box that says Big Night Out. So hope to see you there. We're headed there May 20th. Okay, so you basically keep loading this up. We have 4 other cans of biscuits that we need to cut up and then dip into that sugar cinnamon. And then you're going to take this mixture, I'm going to do it when we get it all piled up, and basically pour this over the top of it. And then it'll drip down. It goes into the oven for about 35 minutes until it looks like this. Pretty excited about this. Actually, everybody in the station is pretty excited about this. Oh, yes, yes. You want to look like a rock star. Bring this to the table Sunday morning. Okay, I know, it is a beautiful thing. Monkey bread, a really fun thing to do this weekend or on a rainy day. Recipes on the website, by the way. Coming up, some more great ideas on what to do on a rainy day, including making homemade Play-Doh. Later, we're making tuna melts and a delicious chicken and corn chowder. Great day to make some soup. So stay with us, we'll be back.